Welcome back. So before we close off the show, let me get the closing remarks from my gentleman. But before we do that, Chris, let me hear your thoughts. Still on the environment,
Yes.
we've spoken about everything, most of it, demolition, or the waste management, and other things, and young people and policies.
Yes.
But we haven't talked about wildlife. And this comes at a point when the nation lost 11 rhinos.
Yes.
11 rhinos.
One of the, we have talked a lot of problems. I mean about problems. I think now our focus should be on solutions. Our focus should be on action. Our focus should be on the way forward. However, we cannot overlook the issue of wildlife, as you have said.
It's part of the environment.
It's part of the environment. And the main question here is, have we done enough to protect and to conserve? We go back again where I was saying, we need a collective kind of energy to bring in good education system. Now, the problem we're having right now, with all these things that we can see, is because of the impunity for lack of information. How many Kenyans are complaining about these things? Very few Kenyans are complaining about that. Only us, very few who are in social media or having an opportunity to watch KTN or to other medias know about the 11 rhinos. And we know that wildlife is key to our economy.
And that's the thing, Matthew. Yes. Kenyans are not as mad about the 11 rhinos as compared to when it's billions of shillings that is taken through NYS. So we take compromise on what to be mad at.
Let me just say this. Kenyans only come on the streets when they are supporting a political of their choice. But when matters are really like, this is the time to do something. Look like the sugar thing. People are being told about mercury. Now I'm not even sure because I don't take sugar as much. But I'm saying that Kenyans are not mad enough, mad for some changes. This is environment. When 11 rhinos are dead and nobody, they are just like, the minister must go home. We must ask ourselves questions about our environment. So, why was the water salty?
Okay, so Mati, do you think then as Kenyans we are not asking questions, we are not putting our leaders on check when it comes to also environment? We are also a big part of the problem and not the solution as citizens.
It's say that bad things happen when good people really watch and do nothing. And so it was very devastating for us environmentalists. I will remember last time you hosted us here, we were preparing for the NNP, massive tree planting activity success, and we really appreciate. During the whole of that week, we were accorded a very rare opportunity. Every of the agents, every of the schools organized, even individuals in their private cars who came to participate and help us with the massive tree planting activity, was accorded an opportunity to drive into the park as an appreciation. So it happened for a whole week, as it were. And to our excitement and thrill, we drove through the park. We were privileged thrice to have our eyes lay on the three of the big five, as it were. And these are a species that are endangered. I have been to Masai Mara oftentimes, and even to the national park. You would drive in there for 3-4 hours. You see, you using your fuel, looking for a lion. You will not see them. Yes. So whatever informed the transfer of the rhinos from whatever quarter, I would not have agreed with it. And that's not really the problem. Did they really have to do that? And only to have them go and die or be killed? And how mysterious was it that they had to die, all of them at once? Weren't the people in charge and involved? Why could not they do due diligence to ensure that the places they are being taken is safe? Remember, as Team Environment Kenya, we have a philosophy. We are out. Our wish, hope, and desire is to leave a heritage. You see, inheritance, just like disclaimer, the South End, the owner, the entrepreneur had that as an inheritance for his children's children, for instance. But it was brought down in an overnight and sent to UK. So we are not about leaving inheritance, because inheritance, you can be robbed off, you can lose and all. Heritage, the only heritage we have. And tourism, leveraging on our wildlife, is one of the greatest revenue earners for our country. And so we need to be, for once, be sufficiently angry, if there's anything like that,
yes,
and really speak against the ills and the injustices that is being done to our wildlife, which is our the only heritage that we can leave for our children's children. It's very, very true, and chances are very, very high that my children's children, given the endangered nature of the rhino species that we just lost, our children's children may not live to lay their eyes on a real rhino, just like we lost the white rhino
right.
the other day.
Right.
Yeah, so it's very, very unfortunate, but something ought to be done sooner than later, so that we can have our wildlife protected jealously. Thank you.
All right, John, let me just get your thoughts on the aspect of, and I love what your shirt says, don't be greedy, be green. Even when it comes to wildlife, as Kenyans, do you think that that's also perhaps a place where we have not paid attention to, be it from our very own leaders to Kenyans as common wananchi? We are not as angry when we hear 11 rhinos have died compared to when, you know, NYS money happens.
We are not as angry because we don't own the wildlife. The person who is believed, by this, over 70% of the wildlife is found in the community. But we believe that KWS are the ones who are in charge. Now, the KWS guys are supposed to tell us that the wildlife is yours. Okay? Schools should be teaching students that this is how you're supposed to handle a wildlife. Okay? Now, the issue of ownership is because we don't relate with it. Okay? Now, if I tell you that we are shutting down KTN News, you really feel that you are involved because you have been relying on it for news. Okay? But a speculator somewhere from another country who hardly views the channel may not find the essence of the shutting down. Now, this is, let me bring it down. This is the effect of the rhinos dying. 11 of them have died. There were officers who are employed to take care of, let's talk about the rangers. Now, 2 rangers or 1 ranger is unemployed. That ranger goes home and that mama mboga is no longer able to sell the mboga to the person. Okay? If in case he rides in a matatu, he is no longer able to go and board the matatu. So the matatu guy is also affected. His customers are. Now, the school fees is not able to be paid. So the community's education will go down, the capability. Now, that guy who drives a tour van is also affected because there are no wildlife to come to make people come. Now, this is the effect of a mistake done by one person. And
ripple effect now.
Yes. So if we can relate this to the local community, that if we take care of our environment, if we take care of our wildlife, this is how we will benefit. We are benefiting from it. Okay? And we are talking about environpreneurship. The reason why it's not active is we have not related. We have not youth. And the youth don't wait to be shown. You have to take it. Freedom is never given. Independence is taken. And I'm not saying that I'm inciting you. You are just.
But we have to be proactive.
We have to be proactive. Yes. Okay. We are talking about food insecurity. Okay. Why can't we grow fruit trees? Okay. You have 3 mangoes at your homestead. You'll be harvesting once or twice in a year, and you'll be selling. That is food security. You have the firewood. You've mitigated climate change. Okay. Now, if we can relate and change our cultural way on how we are behaving. For example, like now, from here I'm going to a wedding. These presents we give, why do I have to give a fridge while the same fridge cannot be active if there is no food? Give a fruit tree as a gift.
Right.
Yes. Why can't we, every time we employ people, each new employee should plant a tree in the organization. Right. Our new students should plant. With that, we will
generate responsibility. All right.
Maybe to add on that is also to see as in wildlife, is we need to create opportunity, and they are there. And because of little information, as he has said, about ownership, we have been left to believe that it is not ours. Just like forest. We believed that forest belonged to the KFS, whereas it is very wrong. Now, we also need to look at wildlife conservation. If you go around places like in Laikipia, and the future of our wildlife is into the hands of the communities, where the communities now can build conservation areas.
Yeah, right.
And this is where the youth should come in now. The youth, just like in community forest associations, where the youth participate in the management of their forests, in agroforestry, is the same thing we can do with wildlife, where youth can be brought together, create a conservation area within their areas to own it, and to own their own wildlife. I've also said that KWS is only a trustee of our wildlife.
It's true.
To be able to run it as an entrepreneurship on our behalf. We should benefit from it. If, for instance, now Nairobi National Park is bordering the communities in Kitengele and all that, what are the benefits to that community? Because ecology also, like the effects of ecology is affected by the people living around that area, who destroy the vegetation, who distort all the whatever systems that are there, the ecosystems. You know, people go into the forest, they cut trees, they cut grass, and they distort that. It does not support the wildlife. But once we bring in the youth, and that's again, I go back to education. Let's put education system that are oriented in development, so that when a standard 1 or standard 2, like in Rwanda, a standard 2 knows much more environment than a Form 4 student in Kenya. I can tell you for the fact. So we need to go back to the basic, where now we need to put up the environment thing into our own hands as the youth of this nation.
All right, because of time, I'm trying to manage time. Matthew, I'll let you have the closing remarks as briefly as possible.
I will try. Thank you so much. My closing remarks would be to really have the youth's inclusivity, so that the realization of the Big Four may be easy. In fact, in the environment sectors, this aspect of inclusivity has not come in as much, and there are various environmental boards that we really do want. Team Environment Kenya, which has a team of well-capable individuals who are able to rightfully represent us in those various groups. And I will mention just a few. Maybe KWS, we need Kenya Water Tower Agency. We have Kenya Forest Service. We have which one else? And the committee, the Environment Committee, Parliamentary Committee. We have a team of great people there. If only the youths that are out here, who we have a huge representation of, could be included, so that they can help in the policy formulation. You see, if you just make laws right there and you throw them to us, we would not be able to really embrace them. Like my colleague Henry has mentioned, if we can be brought up to help in the formulation of the policies, a sense of ownership, the implementation and the formulation of it will be very, very easy. Closing, finally, is that we also are preparing, because we are diversely an environment, we're preparing for the World Cleanup Day, which we hope to have, we will be accorded an opportunity to come and speak about it. It's happening on 15th of September. But prior to the culmination of it, we want to have environmental activities of all kinds. And most importantly, awareness creation of the fact that the wildlife do not belong to KWS. They are custodians and stewards on our behalf. So that we really would want to pray. And the corporates, they have not come on board to support us as much as we would have expected. They are having their cake and eating it. We are a reliable entity, a national movement, youth-led, youth-driven, who will be able to bring a paradigm shift in the environment space.
Okay.
So,
thank you, Matthew. Allow me to close off the conversation there. Matthew Ochenda, he is the director of the Team Environment Kenya. I had Chris Muruthi, the coordinator for Mbobo Management, and sitting closer to me, John Henry. He is the founder of the Green Culture Movement. Right now, as we speak, I would love us to cross over to Eldoret, where the free technical event is happening right now as we mark the International Youth Day, and Elvis Kosgei is at that specific event. Let's just listen into what has been happening throughout part of the morning.
Alafu unarudi nyuma pole pole, mwambie turudi nyuma pole pole. Akiwa chini.
is a great day for Uasin Gishu County, as more than 700 youths are set to benefit from where KCS Member of Parliament Swarup Mishra is going to launch youth and empowerment program that will ensure more than 700 youth benefit from this program. The youth will pursue these courses or be enrolled in the National Eldoret Polytechnic and also the RVTTI. And as you can see behind me, this is a group of youth who are set to benefit from the program. We are also expecting Deputy President William Ruto any time from now. It's a function that's also hosted by KCS Member of Parliament Swarup Mishra, Uasin Gishu Governor Jackson Kiplagat Mandago. We'll have several cabinet secretaries, several member of parliament, senators and governors from different parts of the country. So the youth who are here, and of course, as you can see, they are dancing to the tune. Because maybe it's a great moment to some of the youth here in Uasin Gishu. Labda tu uweze tukiendelea kudance. Katika siku ya leo unatarajia nini?
Natarajia wageni wengi, natarajia katika siku ya leo natarajia naibu wa president, wageni wasaidizi, waziri wa elimu Mrs. Amina Mohamed na wageni wengine.
Wewe unajisikiaje ukiwa mojawapo ya wale vijana 700 ambao watafaidika kutokana na scholarship hii?
Mimi nina furaha mwingi sana. Na hii ni sikukuu yetu sisi wanafunzi, na tunamshukuru mheshimiwa wetu wa KCS constituency kwa kujitolea kwa kutufunza sisi wanafunzi.
Labda ungependa kwenda kujihusisha na nini katika shule?
Mimi naenda kujihusisha na course ya plumbing.
Haya, wacha niweze kusikia kutoka kwa kijana mwingine. Leo unajisikiaje ukiwa miongoni mwa vijana 700 ambao watapata full scholarship kwa udhamini wa Swarup Mishra ambaye ni mbunge wa KCS?
Nimesikia mzuri sana, nimesikia niko proud katika hii Mishra Foundation ambayo imetuweza kupea fursa sisi vijana ambayo wengine hatukuwa tumekosa matumaini ya kusoma, lakini saa hii tumeanza kuona taa imeanza kung'aa katika maisha yetu. So tunashukuru sana Dr. Mishra, tunaambia Mungu akubariki. Sisi kuanza foundation kama hii ili ile vijana wengi waweze kupata faida na waweze kupata masomo na kuendeleza katika maisha.
Kozi gani ambayo utakuwa na enroll katika National Eldoret Polytechnic?
Mimi mwenyewe naenda National Polytechnic kufanya course ya plumbing, ambaye hiyo course itanisaidia sana kama mimi kijana kushughulika kupata mahitaji yangu, riziki yangu ya kila siku. Asante sana.
Kwa hiyo kando na National Eldoret Polytechnic, ni yapi ulikuwa na enroll kabla ya kuweza kuja katika mambo kama haya?
Sorry?
Kabla uweze ku-enroll katika National Eldoret Polytechnic, ni shughuli gani ambayo ulikuwa unajishughulisha na unadhani maisha yako itabadilika kwa kiasi gani?
Mimi nilikuwa nashughulika maisha yangu ya kibarua tu ya kawaida ya kila siku, kutafuta ile kibarua, kutafuta kosa. So vile nilisikia hii foundation nikaona hii ni opportunity ya kipekee ile itanipea nifanye kazi katika ile kiwanja ya profession. Nifanye kazi ambayo nikifanya nalipwa mzuri, si kama ile nanyanyaswa sababu sijasomea mara nini. Lakini saa hii nikitoka Eldoret Polytechnic nitaitwa kama professional na nilipwe kama profession. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Some of the youth set to benefit from the Eldoret National Polytechnic here in Uasin Gishu County. And as I told you before, the chief guest, Deputy President William Ruto, is expected any time from now. And as also mentioned, several cabinet secretaries, several parliaments from out of the country, senators, governors, and also members of the county assembly. Of course, we are keeping an eye here in the Eldoret Sports Club, where KTN News will be airing live the event from Uasin Gishu County. Back to you in studio.
Thank you so much, Elvis. Thank you, Elvis. Okay, they're live for us from Eldoret, where the free technical courses are currently happening as we mark the International Youth Week period. That event will be live on our sister channel KTN Home. But this is where we would love to close off Weekend Express. I'll see you at around 11 a.m. for a quick update of stories making headlines at that hour. My name is Nziki Biko. Good morning.